Hi there. I'm in breathtaking Alhambra, an amazingly beautiful fortress and palace in Granada, Andalusia. Washington Irving was so fascinated with this picturesque and beautiful city that he wrote a book called Tales of Alhambra. In my opinion, Legend of the Three Beautiful Princesses is the best tale that tells a story of how a father's bias and prejudice gets in the way of his daughter's love and happiness. Believe it or not, the lesson from this tale can actually be applied to customer centricity. In UX and in business, we must recognize that our own opinions can send us in the wrong direction, especially when we blindly pursue them just to prove that we are right and that we know better about what's best for our customers. Just as the King Muhammad from the story thought that he knew what's best for his daughters. As you may have guessed, it didn't turn out so well. The bias of thinking that we know everything is so common that psychologists have a name for it. They call it confirmation bias. This is when we are so convinced of our own beliefs that we are only open to the information that supports and reinforces them, completely tuning out any information that could be telling us otherwise. This is a cocoon of our own making that prevents us from taking in any new information that could actually make our views more objective. We block this information just because we don't agree with it. So over time, we convince ourselves that we know everything there is to know about our customers. And time after time, research shows that it's not often the case, not even close. To make things worse, there's another type of bias that is also very common in organizations. This is when someone's views and opinions, usually it is someone in a leadership position, begins affecting other people's views in the group. And this is typically the loudest voice in the room. And when this happens, the entire group of people loses their objectivity. Ironically, this happens a lot with senior executives. The longer you are in the industry, the more you're convinced that you know your customers. It's logical, right? I mean, I've been in the business for 10, 20, 30 years. Of course, I know our customers. If you are thinking that, chances are your system of beliefs was formed decades ago. And ask yourself, how open are you to receiving new information that may completely change your views? And if you're not, how can you be sure that what you believe deep down about your customers is factual today? Not 10, 20, or 30 years ago, but today. I use Uber quite a lot as examples of good UX. Isn't it amazing how quickly things have changed? Uber was just starting out a decade ago. Back then, getting a ride from a complete stranger was not normal. Today, it's not normal when there are no available cars right in our vicinity. We get angry, we get frustrated. This is the new norm, and if you have not adjusted your views of your customers to factor in the new norm, the new reality, then I hate to say it, but your view of your customers may be just as old as Alhambra right behind me. Statistically speaking, over a third of website redesigns fail because they are designed by stakeholders for stakeholders through what we call an opinion-driven process. When it comes to UX design, our opinions don't matter. And in fact, they're often wrong simply because we are not the customer. We are not the end user. The best way to make sure your organization isn't affected by bias is to bring in a fresh new perspective, an outside third party who will conduct an unbiased customer research and user testing. After all, good UX is only good business when your customers, and not you, think of it as good UX.